thank you very much. Being the first time doing a show at over 90 years old, I can hardly get used to saying it myself. Yeah, just mucking through those 80s for the last decade. Now I'm in the 90s, and I'm looking forward to a lot of work in the 90s.
When did you turn 90?
September 1st.
I see, and you just finished competing this last weekend?
Yes, right. Last Friday at the Legions in Reno. I entered the over 80 because they didn't have an over 90, and I also entered the over 70. So it had somebody to be opposed against. Of course, the over 70s were, one was 71, another was 72, and here I am at 90. So I wouldn't really expect to beat them.
So how long have you been bodybuilding for, or competing?
Well, I've been bodybuilding for 75 years.
Wow.
But I've been competing only for 45.
For 45.
And it's not completed. That's all not consecutive 45. There was about 15 years that I didn't bother competing.
So do you have some other competitions you're gonna?
I'm hoping to do Pittsburgh with Gary Unit, because he's always been very, very helpful with me. In fact, he was the one that gave me the pro card when it wasn't on the schedule. And this was back in 2013. And he let me compete as an amateur until we decided, to my promoter, decided he was going to try to get me in the Guinness World Record.
So you hold a Guinness Book of World Records?
Yeah, since I'm in the book, the published book, in 2017 and 2018. But the funny thing about the Guinness World Record, every record is a record. You're the first. So I asked him once, how many records are there? He said about 40,000.
But your record is for?
Bodybuilding. I'm the world's oldest bodybuilder.
You're the world's oldest bodybuilder, right. Competitive bodybuilder.
Right. Well, I am the world's oldest bodybuilder, but in order to get that title, you have to be an IFBB member and you have to be active.
I see.
So I do a show whenever I can, and generally about once a year.
I see. And can you tell me a little bit about your workouts here at Gold's Gym? How often do you work out?
Well, I'm old school. I train 3 times a week, and I break it into 2 upper body and 1 legs.
Do you cycle that around?
I do. No, I do more or less. Well, I do change. I change. Sometimes I do high reps. Sometimes I do lower reps. But when you get to be my age, you're kind of fragile, so you can't really do that the way you used to, because it's easy to get injured, and then it takes a long time to heal.
So you do your whole upper body one day?
No, I do like today. I do lower back, abs, and chest, and back. And then on Wednesday I'll do legs, and Friday I'll do shoulders and arms.
Oh, I see. So you work your body 1 time a week?
Yes.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. And how about your diet?
I've changed my diet. I used to be really, really big on milk, because that's the way you used to train. But that was the way of the diet. Now, Paul Anderson, for instance, they asked him how he was training, and my mentor, the first gym I trained at, was John Probotnick, who was Mr. American 1950, and he was repeating the way it was, and Paul, he says, was out of breath. He said, "Well, how do you train, Paul?" And Paul says, "Well, first I do a set of squats, then I drink a quart of milk, then I do a set of squats, drink another quart of milk, and then I do a set of squats, drink another quart of milk." And I don't know how many of those he did, but he did quite a few, because Paul was one huge guy. He's this picture of him lifting a pinto, in the restroom here in Coles, and he was the jack, and the other guy was changing the tire.
But your diet pretty much is protein shakes and
Yeah. And it was primarily that and meat and cottage cheese and all sorts of stuff. A lot of just about anything centered around beef, because when I was 11, they tested me because I have peanut allergy, and they tested me up and down both arms, and they found the only thing I wasn't at all allergic to was beef, and the thing that I was barely allergic to was milk. So, and we lived in Artesia, which is now Reno. There used to be all the dairies there. In 1938, when we moved there, there were more dairies, more cows than people in the town. So I got the real good taking for milk, but milk and all these other things have a problem because they add to inflammation, and there's the A1 thing in the milk, but I still do whey because it doesn't have that. So I'm currently doing about 5 scoops of whey a day and a couple of chicken pies, and then I drink olive oil and sweet potatoes and stuff for my gut, and mushrooms like crazy for everything, including.
But not many carbs then.
Carbs, no. But now that I'm going to be gaining some weight, I'm adding a little bit of rice, which you shouldn't do because it has leptins. But if you cook it in a pressure cooker, which I do, it gets rid of the leptins. So you can eat them just like anything.
I see. And how much did you weigh when you competed this last week?
Well, I surprised myself. I thought it'd be down to about 140, but I actually ended up the next morning was 147.2, and that might have been all the food that was still in me from carving up for 2 days.
I see. But you stay lean pretty much year round.
Pretty much, yeah. I competed generally around 150. My first win was in 1979 down at Oceanside at the Ironman's Classic, they call it, and I weighed 146, and I competed against about pretty close to 15 people. So my strength has always been more in definition and symmetry.
I see. And what about cardio?
Cardio, I do a little cardio, but not enough to really do anything.
Do you do cardio every day, or?
No. I just after my workout, I run about 10 or 15 minutes.
10 minutes on the treadmill?
No, on the bicycle.
Oh, you cycle for 10?
Yeah, I like the bicycle.
I see. Wow, that's very impressive. Congratulations.
Okay,
Can I take a look at those trophies there? Those trophies look a little different than what I'm used to seeing.
Yeah,
Can I see those?
Well, they that's the way they do them. Last year they were a little thicker, but they're authentic, and I appreciate it. And as I say, a lot of people have wind shines. I have a couple of wind shines.
Nice. Wow, that's nice. Well, congratulations, Jim. That's very inspirational.
Thank you, Fabian, and I appreciate an opportunity to talk to you.
Thank you, Jim.
And the way that they did it, as I recall, we used to call them back in the 50s or the 40s. We would call them three-way curls. But and as I recall, it was you would do 7 from the bottom, and that halfway, then 7 this way, then 7 forward. Well, that didn't make sense to me, because the thing. Are you recording?
Yeah.
The thing that I wanted to do is to make the last part a hard part, because you can go to failure or beyond that way. And this is how I do it. I do the first the first is the easiest part, you know, the halfway down and up this way. And then the second I do is the full rest. And by the time I'm done with them, I could barely make it. So I was, you know, I don't do a full rep because I can't do a full rep. So I do 10 like with just as I can.
Very good.
And I've done 10 reps to failure in one set. And so I'd only do one, maybe 2 sets of an exercise, and I generally don't do more than 7 exercises in a workout.
I gotcha.
Okay, so here we'll do this one. This one's tricky when you let it down. So using that, and this is the way we do it. See, this is really the easy part because it's past the sticking point. Now I'm not counting, but I think I'm just about counting. So then the second is you go the full thing. Now the last part is just this way, and if this weight was a little heavier, I wouldn't be able to, you know, I wouldn't be able to do it at full reps. And it's the thing that's adjustable. If you find at any part that you can do more, do more. And then at the end, you can do it that way too. So you want to end up pretty much going pretty much close to failure. And then do it if you want to do the curl.
Yeah.
So doing the curl would be more or less the same way. Let me get this. So here we go with. Now the full rep. Now this way it is a little light, so I'll just keep on doing them till I really do go to failure. And that was only 30 pounds, and you got a good workout, and you get a pretty good pump of doing it that way. But I'll go and do it some other way when I get tired of doing this, because that I found way back when, because we only did it on curls, that was the fastest way to burn out. that sort of exercise where you can do with a light weight, and you can just burn yourself out. Hi, Liz. How you doing?
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. See, I can walk almost like a normal person.